Hey everyone, this is Ryan Mitchell from thetinylife.com. I wanted to show you another quick tip that will also help with more accurate framing. So what I've done is I've taken my bottom plate, which is the bottom 2x4 on the framing, and my top plate, which is the top 2x4 on your framing. And here in this example, it's a little bit more complicated. Basically, this header here is the top plate, and these two here are the bottom plate. And what I did is I lined them up, and I just quickly clamped them, and then I went along and I marked where my studs are going to be. And so I'm marking my top and bottom plate at the exact same time, so they'll land exactly the same, so I know they'll be straight. And then I go along, there's another stud, and then I get to a window framing. You notice here I marked the bottom plate here with a line, and the top plate here with a line. That means that there's a stud going from the bottom to the top, but then next to it I stopped at the bottom plate. There's no line here at the top plate. Reason being, and what that lets me know, is that there's a stud that starts here but doesn't go all the way to the top. So now that I've marked my top plate and bottom plate, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my plans here, and then I'm going to cut all my studs to the right length. Alright, so now that I've marked my top and bottom plates, I've cut the outside boards, and basically what I found is it makes it a lot easier if you do the top plate, the bottom plate, and the two end sides, and then you check it to make sure you have a perfect square or a perfect rectangle. Make sure that all your dimensions are correct on your outside edges, and then fill in the middle there. And what I'll do is I'll use screws to put it all together at first, and once it's all together, then I'll check it, and doing height, width, and then cross corner to corner. And then if everything's good, then I'll actually go through and nail it. And if there's any problems, then you can quickly take out a screw, adjust it, and no problem. Now I went ahead and cut all of my middle beams already, and what I'm going to do next is, they're just stacked here, but what I'm going to go do is go through them, and I'm going to determine which way they crown. And for those of you who don't know what crown is, basically it's the bow. So boards, they're not all perfectly straight. They have a cup to them like this usually, and sometimes the board's pretty good, so it's difficult to determine which way it goes. But what you want to do is make sure that all of the bows, or the crowns, are pointed in the same direction when you frame your wall, so that when you tilt it up, it's all very straight, because it's very consistent. You don't have a crown going one direction and a crown going in a different direction. Alright, so what you want to do is go through all of your studs and look for where the bow is. And there's actually a bow coming out this way. It's hard to tell on the camera. This isn't a very good lens, but basically it's pushing out that way ever so slightly. So what we're going to do is we're going to mark a triangle in the direction of the bow, like so, and then we know which way to lay the studs when we start framing. So we're going to do this for all of our studs for this wall, and we'll go from there.